into it. Right.
I'm ready. Good to
Ready
go.
as well?
Thanks.
Thanks. As we can go. Right. Welcome, Piotr. Thanks so much for agreeing to talk to us today. It's super nice to talk to you after a while. I had a privilege to interview you like a year ago. I think it was even more than that. So I'm also super curious about like the updates. But first things first. So I'm just thinking that the guys that are watching are probably working on some solutions of their own, and perhaps thinking about down the road putting them into practice and putting them into the form of a product. Can you tell us a little bit about Quickchat, what Quickchat is, and so we have this background on our conversation.
Sure. So Quickchat is a product, or at right now it's actually a number of products that we built on top of our conversational engine that we built. So thanks to GPT-3 and other language models, we built an engine which is basically capable of holding a conversation about a number of topics. So GPT-3 is one of the big components of it, but we're also using a number of different modules to keep the context of the conversation, keep the conversation kind of natural, and also try and make it as factually accurate as possible. And as a company, Quickchat uses this engine in a number of products. So probably the most entertaining part is our consumer product, Emerson AI. So Emerson is our AI persona, you could call it, that you can interact with via Telegram, but now also using our iOS app, hopefully Android app as well soon. And yeah, Emerson is kind of what it says on the tin. It's an AI you can talk to in a number of different languages on a number of different topics, and hopefully learn something new. Hopefully, maybe practice a new language, or just have fun. We have a lot of people kind of sharing screenshots of surprising, funny. Bits of conversation that they've had with Emerson, so that's super fun. And then on the B2B side, probably as expected, we use our conversation engine to build products for companies. So the most obvious use case would be like a customer support chatbot, where you can give it some knowledge and then put the chatbot on your website or on your Facebook Messenger, and then it would answer these kind of repetitive questions from your customers. But we've run a number of different projects, and it's super exciting to kind of see our customers use the conversational capabilities in a number of different ways. And I think we're going to see more and more of those kind of interactive experiences where a computer program is not anymore something that is kind of static and predefined, but rather that we, just like in this conversational engine, you kind of set up roughly the rules and the boundaries, and then the user gets to have their own experience guided by their own conversational flow.
Awesome. Thanks so much for this. So first of all, I checked out Emerson, and it's awesome. So I encourage everybody to try it out themselves and interact with the chatbot a little bit. It's really fun. So can you tell me, like, when did you decide to use GPT-3 as one of the main backbones behind your products?
Yeah, so like you said, over a year ago now, when GPT-3 first came out, we got access to it pretty early. And yeah, at the beginning, it was kind of a lot of experimentation with different, we had a number of different ideas of how we could use it, but kind of the conversational aspect struck us as something that would allow us to take this kind of familiar product, a chatbot, that's so far been pretty kind of disappointing. We all know this experience where there is a chatbot on a website and you're trying to get something done and it's usually kind of useless, and you always end up wanting to talk to the human being anyway. And we've discovered that, like with GPT-3 and what we already then expected would be kind of this new frontier of language models that we actually now see emerging with a number of there's GPT-3, but also a number of kind of extensions, a number of different projects working on their own angle to this massive language model project. So we thought that, like, okay, this is gonna disrupt completely the way we interact with a computer, and now like conversation is gonna become this very tangible goal, and we decided that we want to be kind of the part of it and start building it both on the consumer and on the B2B side.
Got it. So, tricky question, but could you tell me, like, from your perspective, and also I guess it might be of interest to everybody thinking about building a chatbot using GPT-3, what was the biggest challenge so far that you have come across that you perhaps didn't expect when using GPT-3 in your products?
Interesting. The biggest challenge. Well, one thing I will say is that startups are challenging for sure, and there are lots of challenges on every possible aspect, both on the technical side, but on the product side. So I guess the tricky bit, something that everyone who is excited about technology like GPT-3 has to struggle with is, it's one thing to discover this new exciting technology and come up with a great solution, but that solution actually has to have a problem that it actually solves. And this one is something that people don't really expect from the get-go, but this one turns out to be really, really tricky. So I think it might be kind of easier to solve a problem than to find a problem worth solving, if that makes sense. So, and I think this applies to GPT-3, but all the other tech startups you could think of. So, and probably GPT-3 in particular, because people were so excited to start using it and start creating products out of it, that there were lots of these approaches that ended up being just a fun demo that that you might want to play with, but it doesn't really deliver any real value. So so that's something always to keep in mind, that at the end of the day, if we're not creating value, then it's just a fun demo.
Mm-hmm. And so you mentioned, like, from the general perspective of building a startup, like you really want to find an actual problem to solve for hopefully a lot of people, and hopefully that they will be willing to pay for. But I was asking more, to be honest, about your personal journey, and if you could pinpoint the biggest challenge that you had to overcome when building Quickchat and acquiring the first clients.
Okay, I see. Yeah, so like, honestly, probably just building out the core product was just the biggest challenge to really get the conversational experience to where it currently is, because there were with GPT-3 there are a lot of things that kind of surprisingly work really well, but also surprisingly fail at very unexpected stages. And then I think we internally came up with a lot of innovations on top of GPT-3 to just like increase, step by step increase the quality of conversation. So So I wouldn't say it was kind of a big hurdle that we overcome, but rather, this this year or over. Wow, that's amazing. That it's over a year now. So I think it was like a constant solving of difficult tasks just to bring quality a step further. So and the job obviously isn't finished yet. We have a long way to go, but but I think that's the biggest challenge. And also so conversational experiences is something that is kind of difficult to evaluate. So maybe that's the tricky part. So when you're building a chatbot, it's quite difficult to have this kind of one metric that you want to optimize, right? So with algorithms for maybe like ads or main machine learning tasks, usually you have some metric like click-through rate or a number of true positives and so on that you can kind of define and put on the blackboard and check for it every day. Whereas with something as qualitative as conversation experience, is very, very difficult, especially that there might be some conversation that is great in the eyes of one person, but then the other person finds it really annoying. And that's the really tricky part, to optimize something where you don't really have a good value function, but you're kind of in the dark and you're trying to make a lot of different users happy, and there are a lot of moving parts, and it's difficult to kind of pinpoint whether whether an improvement that you made is an actual improvement, because it's so difficult to check.
Mm-hmm. Got it. That's very interesting. So since you are a seasoned founder already, what would be like your number one advice for somebody that is just starting out from scratch, from the idea stage and from a couple of lines of code?
There's probably a lot I could say, but number one is probably so it's good to be aware of kind of statistics. So if you're just starting a startup, like the overwhelming chances are that you're kind of just gonna give up, get discouraged and give up. So a good idea is to start working on something you're kind of excited about. I know it sounds like a cliche, but I think it's difficult because it's gonna take you through like these very difficult times. That's definitely gonna come. But also what I said before, which is to actually build a real problem. So you need to hit the right balance between sitting and diving into the technology and actually talking to people in the right way, so that you're getting an actual feedback you're getting an actual feedback that is linked to maybe linked to a payment or linked to some real opportunity with a real customer, whether rather than just just a pat on the back that something is an interesting idea. So so I'd say work on something exciting and be in the real world where there's actual people waiting for your solution, because that's gonna motivate you in the difficult times.
A lot. I think it's a great number one advice to come up with. By the way, guys, I forgot to tell you that we are also happy to hear your questions if you have any. I am looking at Twitch right now. In case you have any questions and you want to ask to Piotr, you can just like type it in the chat. I'll do that. And meanwhile, I have one more question about Quickchat and the roadmap. So what is the next exciting step ahead of us? What are we going to some experience from you guys?
That's a good question. So we're still we're kind of in the coding and crunching stage where the iOS app is already out, the Android app isn't. So that's the really annoying part, where some people can already use it and the other half cannot. So that's something we really want to get done very, very quickly. And as for the app, I think it's it's a different experience than talking to Emerson just via Telegram, because you get to, it's very easy to give feedback on particular messages just by kind of like Instagram-ish, just by long pressing a message. You can also talk to Emerson via voice, which is exciting. Is something that a lot of people have been asking us about. And we're going to be adding a lot of features around kind of personalization and improving Emerson's memory and so on. So the experience is gonna be more and more kind of human-like, but in a sense that Emerson is going to be building up more and more of the profile of the person, is going to remember more, and also is going to get more and more customized based on the feedback that we get from your messages. So I think this is going to be super exciting, and we going forward we have a lot of ideas around how to make Emerson a great tool for kind of learning about anything, but also practicing languages. That's something we're super excited about. We're seeing first people who start using Emerson, I don't know, in English, and then switch to Japanese, and that's kind of their language learning task, and they do their, like, I don't know, 10 minutes every day with Emerson in Japanese. So that's something super exciting, because
that's amazing.
Because I feel like that's something I was missing when I was learning English back in the day, because you never get to actually talk to a person, which kind of is in a way the best training, apart from watching TV series, I guess, maybe. So yeah, so lots of ideas.
Okay, awesome. So I keep my fingers crossed for you guys, and I think we are going to post the link to Emerson on the general chat, so anybody can check it out. Thanks a lot for joining us once again. I don't see any additional questions from the audience here, but yeah, guys, feel free to reach out to Piotr, get in touch with him if you have any private questions, perhaps. Oh yeah, there is one. There are lots of chatbots in the market right now. How can we create a chatbot which creates difference?
Yeah, that's a good question. So we believe that what makes difference is the chatbot that kind of feels more human. That I feel like it's still quite far that we're gonna open a random website, and the chatbot in the bottom right corner is gonna feel like you're not gonna be sure whether it's a human or a bot. Like, of course, you're gonna know that it's a bot, but you're gonna be surprised by how actually helpful and how useful it is. And I believe that kind of this is what we really focus on with Quickchat, to just completely change this experience from a chatbot that is essentially a questionnaire where you have just options to choose from, to something that just feels like a conversation and feels like maybe we don't need to switch to a human anymore, because just the chatbot just gets what we're saying. So I think that's what makes the difference.
By the way, GPT-3 is excellent basis for creating this next level experience. Okay, follow-up question from Simon Grow. Is it related to digital human, which I heard in Gartner webinar?
No,
I'm
we're
sure
not.
We know. We know what you mean by the
Yeah, I'm not sure
here.
what that project is, but we're not affiliated with them, no.
All right. Thanks a lot once again, Piotr, and let's keep in touch. Thanks, folks, for watching, and see you back here at 5 p.m. for European time.
Thanks a lot.